After my divorce, I had completely given up on love. I was just so tired. Tired of trying to be what everyone else wanted. Tired of pouring my heart into people who wouldn't change. Tired of feeling like I was never quite enough. I had made peace with the idea that maybe love, real love, just wasn't in the cards for me. That it was a chapter of life I was meant to skip. Then, out of the blue, a family friend asked me out. I was nearly 50, and he was around the same age. We had known each other for years, in that comfortable way you know people who have always been on the periphery of your life. There was something about him that just felt easy. It was a feeling I wasn't used to. With him, I didn't have to put on a performance. I didn't have to carefully select my words or pretend to be someone I wasn't. For the first time, maybe ever, I felt I could just be myself, completely and utterly, and that it was okay. What started as a simple, comfortable friendship slowly, quietly, began to bloom into something more. I felt myself falling in love again, and it terrified me. I was so cautious, tiptoeing around my own feelings, afraid to let my guard down. But this time, it felt different. He made me laugh, a deep, genuine laugh that I hadn't heard from myself in years. He listened when I spoke, not just waiting for his turn to talk, but really hearing me. He made me feel seen, not as a collection of flaws to be fixed, but as a whole person. And I started to let myself believe, just for a moment, that maybe this was it. Maybe this was what love was actually supposed to feel like. But life, as it often does, had another lesson for me. Another storm brewing on the horizon. My new beginning was about to be tested in a way I could never have imagined. He was an alcoholic, a severe one, and the 10 years that followed were, without a doubt, the most difficult, heart-wrenching years of my entire life. The pain and struggle I endured during that decade made every hardship I had faced before seem like a distant, faded memory. There were so many nights I cried myself to sleep, the pillow soaking up tears of despair and frustration. I'd lie there in the dark, my mind racing, asking myself the same questions over and over. Why hadn't I learned? Why did I keep finding myself in these cycles of pain? Was I just doomed to repeat the same mistakes? To attract the same kind of hurt? Forever? I felt trapped, wondering if I would ever break free. The man I had fallen for, the kind, funny, easygoing person I knew, was in there, was buried deep beneath a mountain of anger and alcohol. And I was living with the fallout, day in and day out. It felt like a betrayal, not just by him, but by my own heart for letting me fall in the first place. I was trying to hold on to the memory of the man I loved, while living with the reality of the man he had become. It was a lonely, exhausting battle. Then, about 4 years ago, after a decade of turmoil, something shifted. It wasn't a sudden, dramatic movie scene. It was a quiet, determined decision. He decided to get sober, and this time, he stayed sober. It wasn't a smooth path for him. It was a grueling uphill climb, and I watched him fight for it every single day. But he did it. And as the weeks turned into months, and the months into years, I watched the man I had fallen in love with slowly re-emerge. The person I always knew was hidden inside, the one I saw glimpses of all those years ago, was finally coming back to life. The drinking stopped, and with it, the shouting stopped. The unpredictability, the walking on eggshells, the constant undercurrent of tension that had filled our home for so long, it all began to fade. That tight, anxious knot of fear that had lived in my chest for what felt like my entire life, it slowly, gradually, started to melt away. For the first time, I could breathe. I could relax in my own home. The quiet wasn't menacing anymore. It was peaceful. Now, at 61 years old, I can finally say a sentence I never thought I would be able to say. I am happy. Truly, deeply happy. My husband, the real him, loves me every single day. He looks at me and tells me I'm beautiful. Those are words I had never heard from a partner before. Not once in all the years behind me. Think about that. Decades of life, and not once had the person who was supposed to love me most told me I was beautiful. Now I hear it all the time, and it feels like my soul is healing, one word at a time. We don't argue anymore. The chaos is gone. Instead, our home is filled with laughter. We talk, really talk, about everything and nothing. We enjoy the simple quiet of being together. It took a lifetime to get here. It took navigating through so much pain, so much heartbreak, and learning so many lessons I never ever asked to learn. But here I am. I feel loved. I feel safe. I finally feel like I am home, not just in my house, but in my own life. And maybe that's what it was all for. Maybe every tear, every struggle, every moment I thought I couldn't go on was just a stepping stone on the path to bring me here, to teach me that no matter how many times life breaks you, no matter how hopeless it seems, happiness is never truly out of reach. Sometimes it just takes a lifetime to find it. But it is worth the wait. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If it resonated with you in any way, I'd be so grateful if you'd like this video and subscribe to the channel. It means the world to me. Take care.